coaching, Dan.
Hi, Dan. What are you playing there?
Hey, that's the traditional, for some people, the traditional Thanksgiving song, Over the River and Through the Woods, to grandmother's house, except today it's FFRF's house.
To FFRF's house. To Freethought Hall.
To Freethought Hall house for our Thanksgiving special. And we like the song because the lyrics, Over the River and Through the Woods to Grandmother's House, were written by Lydia Maria Child, who was a freethinker. So there's a little bit of freethinking history to Thanksgiving.
It might be easier at this point to say which musicians are not freethinkers.
Which ones are not? Yeah, there's 4.
Okay,
there's 4.
That seems about right.
So what's with those sweaters?
You like it?
Yeah, what is that, Santa? This is Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, as you know, the war on Christmas traditionally starts on Black Friday. That's actually why we call it Black Friday. Yeah. But it gets earlier and earlier every year. So we're geared up for the war on Christmas here.
That's right.
With our ugly Christmas sweaters.
Oh.
Yeah, roaring dinosaurs, Santa and coexisting with dinosaurs. So we've got all the creation
the Ken Ham Christmas.
wrapped into one hideous sweater.
I mean, that could have happened. I mean, there could have been. You don't know. You weren't there in the dinosaur age.
You can't prove it didn't happen. So,
Yeah, so it must have.
welcome to our special Thanksgiving episode. This is FFRF's Ask an Atheist on Facebook Live as usual. But as you can see, we are here at FFRF Freethought Hall having a Thanksgiving party at our headquarters in Madison, Wisconsin. And we are giving thanks. So, as always, we want to hear from you. So write in, comment your most unusual Thanksgiving story, maybe some awkward conversations, perhaps around your religious beliefs.
Or lack thereof.
Happening at grandmother's house on Thanksgiving Day. And we want to hear stories from our viewers about the holidays or Thanksgiving and how you made it through. So
You can comment right there on Facebook or send an email to askanatheist@ffrf.org if you don't want to comment publicly, but we probably are going to read it out. So.
yeah, so Andrew, you have a little Thanksgiving story to share.
A little bit of a Thanksgiving story. When I was first coming out and saying, yes, I'm an atheist, I was never a believer in my family, and I think everybody knew that. Most of my family is not really believers either. But when I first said, yes, I'm an atheist, at Thanksgiving, one of my family members said, so you don't believe in anything? I said, no, of course I believe in family and good food and fun and fighting for something that's bigger than yourself and all these different things. I just don't believe in that one particular thing because there's no evidence for it, and it's a really bad idea, too.
Right on. And then everyone was convinced and converted, and no one
pretty much.
ever gave me grief again.
Yep, pretty much.
Right on. So, right, before we get to comments and stories from our viewers.
Send them in.
Yes. We are going to take a look at our very own resident vegetarian / attorney, Sam Grover, cooking his not-so-traditional Thanksgiving Tofurkey. Check it out.
Hi everyone, sorry I couldn't be here today, but this is Sam, one of FFRF's fine attorneys, and I'm going to show you today how to prepare a Tofurkey. That's right, Thanksgiving doesn't have to involve the slaughter of an innocent bird anymore, thanks to this beautiful invention. But last year was a different story. They asked me to carve a turkey on camera.
We are going to have our resident family vegetarian carve our feast.
Oh, yeah, that's me. We have a beautiful spread before us, and here we go. I'm just, I'm obviously very skilled at this, having
I don't think that's the way you're supposed to do it.
Done this many times before. Not the greatest moment of my legal career, but this year, fortunately, I'm more in my wheelhouse with the Tofurkey, and I'm here now with Greta, FFRF's newest legal assistant. Hi, Greta.
Hi.
Yeah, so let's get right to it. I'm going to show you why Tofurkey is easily the best thing that you can do for Thanksgiving, far better than the meat-based option. The coolest thing about the Tofurkey is that you can just throw a whole bunch of other things right in beside it. It's not going to mess with the cooking at all, and instead you're going to end up with a whole bunch of healthy, delicious side dish options. So we've got some apple here, we've got some sweet potato, carrot, onion. We're going to do some zucchini as well.
I think that's a good choice. Is this what you would normally cook for your Thanksgiving meal?
I'm going to go ahead and say yes for the purposes of this video. But no, the reality is that there are a lot of better meat alternatives than Tofurkey for Thanksgiving and otherwise.
And what inspired you to become a vegetarian?
I'm so glad you asked, Greta, because the truth is that everyone should try to cut some meat out of their diet for sustainability reasons. The Earth's not getting any cooler, and meat production uses a lot of resources that we just don't have. For the record, going full vegetarian, actually not that hard and not that bad. All right, here we go. The Tofurkey unboxing. Let's see what we've got here. Oh gosh, some delicious looking gravy. So much gravy.
Oh, they give you lots of it.
Okay, and here's the beast in question. It does not look appetizing at all right now. Let's see if we can do something about that. Now, what you're going to want to do here is open up the fake bird. We're going to just throw it right here into this pan. And it looks sad, basically like a giant fish stick right now. But we're going to see if we can't dress it up a little bit and make it more appealing. So I'm going to basically just take all of this, and we're just going to surround this Tofurkey with some veggies and delicious side pieces. And we're going to get some gravy, some oil. We're just going to douse all of this in that. And then all those juices are going to come together and really make this something that's edible.
So is it stuffed with something?
The picture makes it seem like, yes, in fact, it's got a delicious stuffing inside.
Looks very good.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that's gonna really give it the edge it needs to outcompete the turkey when it comes to the actual Thanksgiving celebration.
I think so as well.
Okay, now you probably didn't see it, but when Sam was cooking, we wanted to point out that in the kitchen there, we actually have a little plaque above the sink there that's from our Sacramento chapter. They gave money specifically for that kitchen. And the plaque says that this is our non-sacramental water that comes from the tap. This is the Sacramento chapter's gift to Free Thought Hall when we were building this brand new building for FFRF, our headquarters here in Madison, Wisconsin.
Right, so shout out to our Sacramento chapter and thank you to everyone who contributed to our fabulous new building. So we actually want to start off by our food frenzy here by doing a turkey Tofurkey taste test, and the anticipation is killing everyone. Greta, our volunteer, who is an omnivore, has graciously volunteered to taste both and tell us what she thinks. So I'm not sure if the camera can pan to our lovely spread here, but we've got our Tofurkey in front. This is the after shot of that beautiful Tofurkey that Sam Grover sold so hard in that video package. And then, of course, we have our mini turkeys or perhaps miscellaneous other poultry. So, Greta, I think maybe you should try the Tofurkey first.
Okay, I'm very excited to try this. I've never had Tofurkey before, so we'll
Dive in.
see how it goes.
It
It actually
reasonable.
looks pretty appetizing. It does not look like a big fish stick as much anymore. The vegetables help.
yeah, there's stuffing in the middle as well. Mm-hmm. Tell us, what are you experiencing?
It's actually really good. The texture is not weird at all. I won't say that it exactly tastes like turkey because it doesn't. It tastes like kind of a tofu turkey, if you will.
It looks like turkey. It's got the texture and everything.
It really
on
does, yeah.
How's that stuffing stuff in the middle?
It's good. It's a cranberry and wild rice stuffing, so
Oh, nice.
it's good for the holidays. Very tasty.
All right, now dive into the bird.
Okay.
And give us a little comparison.
Yeah, let's see how this
see
is.
for real. Now, and we said that Sam's our resident vegetarian, but we actually have quite a few vegetarians on staff.
Yes, one amongst us
Yeah.
here.
Buzz, the voice of
Big
God,
one.
Dante, Maddie. So we have 3 on the legal staff. I think there's actually like a higher percentage of vegetarians among non-believers and atheists than the general population, but I have no data to
That's
back that
a
up.
statistic that
No
Andrew
data.
made up.
Yep, made up statistic right here. I did ask Phil Zuckerman before we came live, but he didn't get back to me in time. So anyway, comparison.
Yeah,
What do
so
you think, Greta?
the chicken/poultry is also, it's good. I think it's a little bit drier. I feel like the Tofurkey retained a little bit of the moisture better. And I think that maybe just because we put more seasoning on the Tofurkey has a little bit more robust of a flavor. So between these two, I have to say that the Tofurkey is good. But if we're going against my dad's turkey, that has to win.
Okay.
So right here, though, did Sam beat out?
Yeah, I would say
wow, Sam's gonna be so
today
thrilled.
with this, Sam did win. The Tofurkey is better.
Way to go, Sam.
Wow.
Yay, Sam.
Sam,
He's going to be very proud. Well, thank you for being the guinea pig on
Yes,
this.
of course.
you are a sport. Now we're all going to eat, and while we eat, we are going to maybe share a couple of Thanksgiving thoughts and stories with some of our friends in the room.
Do we want to say thanks first? Do we want to have Dan say thank
Grace?
you? We do have a preacher, a pastor in here.
Yeah, let's get a nice Thanksgiving thought from Annie Laurie Gaylor.
In a minute. I can do it in a minute.
So Annie
We
Laurie,
can
you've got a story for us?
So, in our patriarchal religious society, we give all the credit to some supernatural male deity that we've made up. And Thanksgiving is a lot of work. So, we need to thank the cooks. So, thank you to all of the people who brought fixings. I did not bring anything. There's a number of
Yes.
you, and Sam, and the people who bought the food. And then, Dan, are you going to do the formal?
I can.
That
a
is
good
coming
time?
up. Let's hear from Ryan first. I know he's got a story
I just want to make
share.
a pitch. We have these lovely aprons which say, "In Chef We Trust." Sam was wearing one.
Yes,
you can
you
get them
saw
at the
it.
FFRF store, which is much better than in God We Trust, and it gets to your point, I think, right?
And chefs actually exist, right?
Right. It's provable. So Ryan Jane is another one of our attorneys, and you can pass over the mic. You have a Thanksgiving story to share, perhaps a holiday story. Ryan, tell us.
I do. So something that happened to me a couple years ago. My family, similar to the one Andrew mentioned, mostly non-believers. People who are religious in my family are not fanatical about it. So no one prays before the meal, anything like that. But a couple years ago, I had a funny thing happen where I was already at FFRF. I'm a staff attorney here, so most of my family is aware that I've always been an atheist and anti-theist at that. I don't have any respect for religion, basically, and everyone knows it. So a lot of times they don't bring it up unless they want to have that discussion with me. But one of my younger cousins must have not been aware because she brought up just in passing. We were chatting about what are you studying at school and things, and she said, "Well, for one of my my classes, I'm studying the history of mythology and pagan gods, pagan figures and mythological figures and gods." And my dad said, "Oh, well, I have someone who could tell you all about that." And she said, "But I need to find someone who is more of an expert who can tell me about some of these things." And my dad volunteered me and said, "Oh, Ryan can tell you all about that." And so I was getting ready, and she said, "Oh, great, I'm so excited because I was going to ask my grandpa, but he's an atheist, so he'd be biased, so I don't want to talk to him." So we had to break the news to her that I would probably not be a big improvement on the grandpa, other than maybe a different knowledge base. So I actually referred her to a professor in the area. So I think she got the perspective she was hoping for.
Very nice.
Fair. Yes, I think a lot of us are used to being the resident atheist at the Thanksgiving table.
Hey, you come from a family of Catholics.
I do, like many of us. It's probably more of a taboo that people don't raise with me because they don't want to talk about my atheism at Thanksgiving.
And lose arguments with you.
Yeah. It's no fun to argue with
An attorney.
supernatural believers and, me at the Thanksgiving table. I just stuff my face. Speaking of which, everyone should eat, and we should go to comments.
Well, I think we're going to have...
I think we should eat while he sings this song. Why don't we do that?
Great point. So our co-president and resident former minister, musician, Dan Barker, is going to play us a preview, never before heard song that he wrote that is called Let's All Give Thanks. It is going to be on his upcoming Godless Gospel album, which is going to be released sometime next year. It's going to be performed publicly at our convention next year in San Antonio. But this is a sneak preview of Let's All Give Thanks.
And by the way, do you like my sweater? It's not an ugly sweater. It's a necklace that was given to me by the Native American film composer Brent Michael Davids, who's in the Mohican tribe. And since I'm a Native American too, we thought we would give thanks to the people who graciously endowed this country to the settlers who came over here. Anyway, yeah, the song is called "Let's All Give Thanks." This is a debut. The real song's going to have a big band in it, but to bless the meal today, and Annie Laurie's really hungry, I can tell. She's wanting to go.
Well, so wait, it's going to have a big band behind it. This is from the Godless Gospel.
The Godless Gospel album, which is coming out next year. We're writing the material.
So it's gospel music with the band and the choir and all that.
Yeah, the whole thing, but it's
from
all
a free thought perspective.
Godless atheist lyrics.
I'm so excited for this.
So we non-believers, we have gratitude too. We feel appreciation, but we give thanks where thanks is due. Let's all give thanks. Let's all give thanks. Let's all give thanks where thanks is due. Not to religion, not to a God, but to the people who've made the world a better place for me and you. Let's all give thanks. Let's all give thanks. Let's all give thanks where thanks is due to real people, not to religion, not to a God, but to the people who've made the world a better place for me and you. When we sit down at the table, let's give thanks to the chef and to the farmers and the drivers and the storekeepers who made this meal possible. When your plane lands safely, give thanks to the pilots and to the scientists and the engineers and the mechanics and the crew who made that flight possible. When you survive a medical emergency, give thanks to the paramedics and the doctors and the nurses, the entire medical profession that saved your life. And when the weather is nice, let's give thanks to nature. Let's all give thanks. Let's all give thanks. Let's all give thanks where thanks is due. Not to religion, not to a God, but to real people who've made the world a better place for me and you. But to the people who've made the world a better place for me and you.
Yeah.
All right.
That was great.
So
Dan?
I am really excited about this project.
I could just hear the gospel choir behind you there, Dan.
Good too. We went to school in New Orleans for 7 years, or I did. And you were there for 3 years, and there's so much great music there, but there's also this huge gospel influence. And sometimes I'm singing along to a song, and then I think about the lyrics. And I'm like, wow, that's not even close to right. So I'm really excited for this.
Well, some Christians used to say, why should the devil have all the good music? Well, we can flip it. Why should Christians have all the good music? Music is just music. Let's use it. So.
Yeah. All right.
Right on. So again, that is going to be on the Godless Gospel
Very
album
excited
coming
about
out
this.
next year, 2020. Look for it.
And maybe are we intending to do something at the convention in San Antonio?
Yeah,
is that the plan?
The debut performance will be there. So
Yeah, that's
don't
next
miss
year,
that.
November 13th through 15th, 2020 in San Antonio, FFRF's convention. Check out our website for more information. So I'm going to go to the comments and see if we have any comments or questions from viewers.
can I eat now? Is that
Yeah,
good?
Dan, I think
Yeah.
you're allowed
Can I
to.
eat?
Dan,
We release
can-
you.
So I'm going to actually share this first. This is from our communications manager, Lauren Searing, who is downstairs helping
stuck in the
produce this
studio
program.
right now.
She's saying, I have a story. And it's for the longest time, my aunt, who does not exactly love where I work here at FFRF, always made us pray before our Thanksgiving meal. She said, made her pray before our Thanksgiving meal. Oh my gosh. She said it was because Lauren, was the youngest, but I could tell it was really because she thought it was funny to make the atheist pray. I always politely declined. My aunt would always say I was being a bad sport or ask me why I was such a Debbie Downer. 2 years ago, after being pressured to lead the prayer again, I responded that I found it disrespectful that anyone would force someone else to pray, and that Thanksgiving wasn't even a religious holiday anyway. My aunt did not like that, but she never asked me to pray again. Right on, Lauren.
Yeah, way to go. Got to stand up for your beliefs. Coercive prayer. I see that in our work quite a bit, though.
Yes.
Usually not around the dinner table.
Right, no, but I mean, it kind of raises the issue of having to stand up for your beliefs around the holiday table. I think a lot of us maybe have felt something like that.
Well, and there are other moments too where you're at like a public breakfast and somebody ends up saying a prayer beforehand and you look across the room. Dan, you tell this story all the time when we do our moment of bedlam. And you can see the other atheists because everybody's got their heads bowed in prayer except for the people who you're making eye contact with across the room.
That's right.
More and more lately.
So we have an interesting question here that's sort of local from Rose Carlson. What do you think about Wisconsin making the week of Thanksgiving National Bible Week?
Yeah.
Christianity wasn't especially kind to Native Americans. After all, I've always found that rather ironic.
Yeah, we can,
It's a
and maybe
euphemism.
Dan wants to weigh in on that aspect of it. But FFRF did oppose National Bible Week. I wrote an op-ed that was in the Cap Times about this. We did an action alert, let everybody know. We had a statement out about this. We were pushing hard back against this National Bible Week proclamation. I mean, this is not part of Project Blitz itself, but it's got that Project Blitz flavor where trying to associate America with the idea of a Christian nation, trying to say that we are a Christian nation. And the fact of the matter is we don't have a national book, certainly not a national holy book in this country. We have a constitution, and it's a godless constitution, and that's what we ought to be honoring, not the book of fairy tales for one particular religion. Anybody else want to jump in on? But no, everybody else is eating. All right.
Yeah. So we have one more question here about, Andrew, you know about this. In your book, it says the founding myth. Andrew writes that the claim that the Christian God is responsible for the founding of America is wrong, but it also seems rude, and it encourages people to give thanks to the wrong thing, which is apropos of Dan's song.
Apropos of Dan's song, it's what Annie Laurie was talking about as well. I mean, it really does. The idea that we are a Christian nation and that God's responsible for America is so flawed. I mean, America is a quintessentially human achievement. I mean, these patriots are responsible for crafting our country, not some deity. There's this really great story, actually, that I tell in the book after the Battle of Fort Ticonderoga, when Knox captured these cannons. They took them across the snows to Boston, put the cannons up on Dorchester Heights, and scared the British away. They liberated the city of Boston. And Ethan Allen was at a church service shortly after that, and the preacher, deacon, I think his last name was Dewey, was saying that we all need to give thanks for the victory at Fort Ticonderoga because of what it meant, and basically attributing that victory just to God. And Ethan Allen gets up and says, "Hey, Reverend, I was there too." And the Reverend did not write kindly of Ethan Allen in his diary that evening.
Cheeky.
Ethan Allen wrote, "Reason the only oracle of man."
Yep, probably the first free-thinking book.
Published in the United States.
Yeah.
So can I say something about shutting that off?
Okay, hang on. It looks like the mic might have turned off,
Yes.
so I can repeat. Annie Laurie's. Oh wait, here we go. There we go.
Oh, Ethan Allen wrote Reason, the Only Oracle of Man, considered to be the first free-thinking book published in the United States. So another free-thinking founder.
Absolutely.
Dan has
Please
a
do.
comment.
So I think this is true, Andrew, and you're the expert on this, but those cannons that were on Dorchester Heights, you know where they came from?
Oh gosh,
They
is
came
this
from
dangerous?
France. There was the French government and Lafayette and all those. If it wasn't for the French, we wouldn't have been able to conduct that war. So we should give thanks to the liberal, libre pensée French too.
Merci.
That's right. I think that's pretty much it. Other than Heidi Heim, who asks, where do I get one of those sweaters? You're obviously talking about these chic ensembles. Unfortunately,
Online.
these are from the internet.
Yeah, I mean,
some
go to
of
the-
our
go
ugly
to the
sweaters are
interwebs.
from Ragstock, a local wonderful clothing store here in downtown Madison.
There are many, many options
Yes,
for ugly
just
Christmas sweaters.
ask and you shall receive.
Just type
from
in
the
dinosaur
internet.
Christmas sweater and yeah.
So I think we are going to eat now.
I know, I'm pretty hungry. It smells so good.
Yes, and you want to introduce the God video?
Yeah, we definitely want to do that. I mean, one thing that I've been thinking, kind of, being the good godless heathen that I am, is what would it be like to have Thanksgiving dinner in heaven? You know, Jesus and God and the Holy Spirit are all around. I mean, we got the Father and the Son, and then there's this ghost hanging out. I mean, it sounds like it would be really weird. Thanksgiving dinner is hard enough with all the family tensions and relationships that we've been talking about, but I think that Thanksgiving dinner in heaven would be really weird. So, God, is Thanksgiving dinner in heaven weird?
Yes, it's super weird. First of all, my son Jesus is a filthy hippie, and he refuses to eat meat unless it's organic. Then there's my little homie, the Holy Spirit. He's a dove, so he's disgusted by the idea of eating another bird. Ugh. So, I eat the whole turkey myself. Jesus eats his vegan bull. And the Holy Spirit just eats some pizza. After that, we get wasted and start fighting. Dishes get thrown. Feelings get hurt. Hurricanes get made. Cities get destroyed. You know, the usual. Well, that's all for now.
Yeah.
To those that love me,
Lord.
I love you too.
No, he didn't.
And to those that don't love me, seriously, man. Seriously.
So that was God, the internet character. You can find him all over social media. The Good God Above on Twitter, Good God Above on Instagram, the Good Lord Above on Facebook. A pretty funny guy, for a God anyway.
That's our show for this week. And a quick promo for our television show, Free Thought Matters. It airs on Sunday in major markets around the U.S. This week's guest is Rachel Lacer, the president of Americans United. The show will also air on Facebook on Monday evening. It's also available on YouTube. Check
All
it
the
out.
episodes.
We're taking a week off to recover from the festivities, so our
And-
next live show will be December 11th.
Well, we're going to be in the trenches, too. It is the war on Christmas. I mean,
Yep.
we have other things to do.
Exactly, gearing up. December 11th at noon Central. Join us then, and we hope you all have safe travels and an amazing Thanksgiving.
Bye-bye.